So let's talk about the signal chain. On this board we start with the diamond compressor. From the compressor we jump over to the buffalo buffer, which is the white pedal on the far side. From the buffer we go into the volume pedal. From the volume we go to the wah. From the wah we go to the tremolo pedal, and we'll talk a little bit later on about why I've put my tremolo pedal here. From the Voodoo Lab Trem we go into the double barrel by JHS, which is an overdrive pedal. From the JHS we go to the Wampler triple rack, which is a higher gain distortion pedal. From the triple rack we go into the Zen Engineering Fatman, which is a tube pedal. From the Fatman we go into the overdrive number 30 by Midnight 30 Music, and that comprises the overdrive section of the board. From the overdrives, we go into the POG 2. From the POG 2, we go into the MXR Carbon Copy, the Diamond Quantum Leap, and the Empress Delay. From the delays, we go into the TC Hall of Fame Reverb pedal, and we finally end up with the New Neighbor Technology Slate pedal, which is loaded with Seraphim shimmering reverb. So those are the pedals that are on this board. Let's take a second to talk about why I put my pedals where they are and maybe some of the benefits or drawbacks of that. The diamond compressor works really well as the first pedal in a signal chain. There's a few reasons for that. The first reason is a compressor will raise the noise floor on whatever signal it's receiving. So if you had it in the middle or towards the end of a board, any sort of noise introduced, whether it's a hiss or a hum from a noisy pedal, would be amplified by a compressor. And then things get a little noisy. So right off the bat, the only signal or the only noise that would be introduced would be coming from your pickups or your guitar cable, which usually is not a lot. The second reason I like the compressor where it is I have it set to sort of boost the signal just slightly. So a slight compression and a slight boost just gives some strength to the signal as it enters the board. Adds a little bit of sustain, a little bit of fatness as well. From the compressor, the signal then gets buffered. So to start on this board, compression, slight boost, buffering. And that just will ensure that as the signal travels through the board, the rest of the pedals are true bypass until the very end of the board. So that just ensures as the signal goes through all these other pedals, it remains clear, no loss of high end, and just a strong signal. So no other buffers in the signal until you get to the final pedal. And the final pedal is buffered bypass, but the buffer in it is a high quality one, which means driving that final cable from the shimmering or reverb on the far side to your amp again will ensure that you don't lose tone. So I find that this works really well. The compressor and buffer as the initial strengthening of your signal, and then a final buffered bypass pedal at the very end. And doing A/B tests is phenomenal. I can't really tell I'm losing any signal at all. So moving back to the volume pedal, I've set this up before my overdrive pedals. And the reason for that is I only exclusively use the volume pedal for swells. I don't use it to set an in-between volume or something like that. Using your guitar volume is just a little bit more efficient that way. So this is only for swells. And I like to have it set up before my overdrive and distortion pedals. That way, if some of them are engaged, as I swell the pedal, it'll go from a clean sound to an overdriven sound to a distorted sound, and it just gives a swell of intensity. So yeah, if you put the volume pedal after, then as you swelled in, it would be the same level of overdrive here as it is there. And it's just a different style of effect, but I find that varying level of intensity really pleasing. So that's why I've set that here. I've also set the wah pedal before as well. I think it just sounds nicer before some of the overdrives. Now to the trem pedal. If I know I'm not going to be using trem in a set, which is fairly regular, I'm not, I don't use this pedal an awful lot, then what I'll do is I'll take the intensity level, which normally would be somewhere around 12 o'clock, and I'll just turn it off. Turn the volume up, and then it becomes a great clean boost. And the reason why I have this boost before any of my overdrive pedals is it just, if you think about it this way, it gives you sort of an A-B sound for every single overdrive pedal. So if I engage the Morning Glory side of this pedal, and I just want to bump the intensity up a little bit, I can hit it with the clean boost, and that just drives it a little harder. And that works equally well for all these pedals. The final overdrive pedal on this board, I also have set up as a boost, but as a solo boost. So I start my overdrive sections with a possible clean boost here, which will just drive some of these pedals harder. And then I end with a solo boost. And this is a great pedal too, because it's just got a dip switch, or a toggle rather, on the top of the pedal that lets you select between drive and boost. So really versatile, and I find just having a clean boost before and a solo boost at the end really works well. So on this board, I don't have any modulation pedals. And I think the board is big enough as it is. I would probably prefer a smaller board with fewer effects. But the way it's set up now, it's quite versatile, so that I can just show up, set up, and I know that I'll have quite a few good core sounds that I can find quickly and easily, which is important. That brings me to talk about the Diamond Quantum Leap. It's a really versatile pedal, and that's why it's on the board. It's got a foot toggle switch here that lets you go through a few different modes. And included are flange, chorus, comb filter, delay 1 and delay 2. A really great sounding pedal, and although maybe the chorus wouldn't sound as good as a dedicated specialized chorus pedal, considering how often I use those effects, it really does a good job. And just being able to flick modes quickly and easily makes it a no-brainer for this board anyway. It's great. Jumping across to the Pog 2, again, a really great pedal, really versatile. It's got 8 different settings or presets that you can scroll through, and anything from just a simple octave up or down to organ sounds to swells. Just a great pedal. From the Pog 2, we go then into reverb number 1, which is the Hall of Fame. Now, it's got a lot of great sounds. I usually leave it on church mode, which is a longer reverb mode. I just take the decay down a little bit so that it's still, it doesn't overwhelm sort of faster passages, but still sounds great on small 3-string voicings or arpeggios or that kind of thing. So usually I'll have this one sort of as a set and forget on church mode. And then from there, we end up with the final buffered bypass pedal here, the shim reverb. And this one I usually just leave as an ambient pedal. So I'll set it up and it just creates this really nice billowing undertow of ambient goodness. It's a really, really beautiful sounding pedal. And the thing I appreciate about this one is even with the effect level quite high, the fundamental tone of the guitar still comes through, which I really like. So you can still have some of that clarity and intelligibility of your passages, your playing passages, while it just creates this beautiful kind of soundscape underneath your sound, which is really, really, really nice. So that's just a brief walkthrough of the board, and hopefully a decent explanation as to why I put certain pedals where. I'll do a part 2 where I play through some of the sounds so you guys can hear some of those. So stay tuned for that, and other than that, have a great day, take care, we'll talk to you soon.